All right, let's dive into something pretty cool today. We're talking STOKR.
STOKR.
Yeah, a European digital asset marketplace. They're doing some interesting things. Essentially, think of them as this bridge connecting investors with, up-and-coming ventures, all using blockchain, all very uh, cutting edge.
Yeah.
But here's the big news, right? STOKR just raised a bunch of money, like a significant amount,
Yeah, they did.
7.4 million, which, if you're like me and have to think about that in dollars, it's almost 8 million.
Yeah, it's a lot. And a big chunk of that is going towards something really interesting.
A Bitcoin treasury.
That's right. They're building a Bitcoin treasury, just like MicroStrategy, big company vibes.
Yeah. Which is, that in itself is a pretty interesting story, right? Because they're one of the first EU companies to really embrace this.
Yeah, they're really leading the charge here. It shows that they have a ton of faith in Bitcoin. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, for sure. So let's break this down a bit. This funding round, where'd the money go?
Well, most of it is going straight into Bitcoin, like about $6.78 million worth. They're buying 100 Bitcoin with that.
100 Bitcoin, just to have on their book.
Exactly. It's part of their treasury strategy.
Wow.
But they also got another 1.2 million in cash for more traditional, operational stuff.
So they're not just all Bitcoin all the time.
Right. But Bitcoin is clearly a core part of their strategy. And they've actually said that this is just the start.
Oh, really?
They plan to keep growing that treasury. It's a long-term play for them.
Which makes sense when you think about the whole, inflation hedge argument for Bitcoin. It's like digital gold.
Exactly. They're hedging their bets against traditional currencies.
Yeah, pretty smart. But hold on, they're not JST hoarding Bitcoin, are they?
Oh, absolutely not. They're building a whole ecosystem. It's not just about the treasury.
Okay, right. Like, what else are they doing?
Well, they're working on these new Bitcoin-based tokenized assets.
Tokenized assets, okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
Think of it as taking a real-world asset, like stocks or real estate, and creating a digital version of it on the Bitcoin blockchain.
So basically like Bitcoin, but for other stuff.
Kind of, yeah. It's a way to bring traditional finance into the crypto world.
Interesting.
And they're also building the infrastructure to make all of this possible, focusing a lot on what they call layer 2 solutions for Bitcoin.
Okay, now you're going to have to explain that a little bit. What's layer 2?
So think of Bitcoin's main blockchain as a highway, right? It can get congested. Layer 2 is like building a faster, more efficient express lane on top of that highway.
Gotcha.
So transactions can happen more quickly and cheaply. And one of the key layer 2 solutions they're working with is the Liquid network.
Liquid network.
It's super important for institutional investors who need to move large amounts of money around quickly.
Makes sense. I remember they also partnered with Blockstream to launch that tokenized hash rate offering, right?
That was a big one.
So instead of having to buy all the equipment and deal with the hassle of mining Bitcoin yourself, you could just invest in a token that represents a share of the mining power.
Exactly. Super innovative.
Really pushing the boundaries. And I guess it's working for them. Over $110 million in repayments and investments facilitated last year. That's not small potatoes.
It's not. But, that kind of success in this space, it attracts attention.
From regulators.
Especially from regulators. And STOKR is actually being very proactive about it.
Okay, great.
They're planning to transition to a new regulatory status under the EU's MiCA framework.
Okay, break that down for me a bit.
MiCA, or the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, it's basically the EU's rulebook for crypto.
Gotcha.
Right now, STOKR is what's called a Virtual Asset Service Provider, or VASP. They're going to become a Crypto Asset Service Provider, or CASP, which means following even stricter rules.
Oh, so more hoops to jump through.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also demonstrates their commitment to transparency and compliance.
And that's important for building trust with investors, right?
Yeah.
Especially those big institutions.
Absolutely. So to sum it all up, STOKR is building this Bitcoin treasury, pushing the boundaries with tokenized assets, and all while staying ahead of the regulatory curve. They're definitely one to watch.
I'm with you there. It's super interesting to see how they're like weaving together all these different threads.
It really is. But what I find really fascinating is the bigger picture here. STOKR going this route with Bitcoin and MicroStrategy doing the same thing earlier. What does that say about how companies are viewing Bitcoin, especially in Europe?
Yeah. Is it becoming a legitimate reserve asset?
That's the question, isn't it? And if so, what does that mean for the future of finance in the EU and maybe even globally? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. All right, that's STOKR, folks. A company making some bold moves. We'll be keeping an eye on, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
See you then.